There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
Certainly what we rejected is this hysterical allegation that somehow that we are moving towards a carbon tax from the Liberal and their advertising. We certainly reject that.
Now, I did say during the last election campaign, I promised that there would be no carbon tax. That's true, and I've walked away from that commitment, and I'm not going to try and pretend anything else. And I promised that there would be no carbon tax. That's true, and I've walked away from that commitment.
Union heavyweight Paul Howes has declared Australia does not have a carbon tax. The head of the Australian Workers' Union believes Julia Gillard was right when she told Australians there would be no carbon tax under the government she leads.
Who knows what Tony Abbott and the Liberal Party genuinely stand for?
Well, some people could say that it doesn't matter what Labor says during an election campaign either, given we've got a carbon tax. But can we move on and turn to...
Let's be clear about that. I mean, Labor has always said that it will put a price on carbon, and that's what Labor did. This nonsense debate, which has distracted the Australian community for the last 2 years about what the Prime Minister did and didn't say, is a distraction. I don't think it's a carbon tax. It's a fixed price CPRS system. It's essentially the same system with a few minor changes to appease the Greens that was put up in 2008.
So when she said, so when she said there will be no carbon tax, you think that that is true? There is no carbon tax.
We don't have a carbon tax. We have a fixed price, which will become a floating price in a couple of years' time.
Well, which is
an emissions trading scheme.
Well, it's a carbon tax now.
It's an emissions trading scheme, and it's what the CPRS was with a few minor changes. Trust me, Sam, I spent so much time working on this.
It's a carbon tax now. You must acknowledge that.
It's a fixed price. It's a fixed price moving to a floating system when the market determines the price, as it always would have been even under the CPRS.
There will be no carbon tax under the government I lead.
And I promised that there would be no carbon tax. That's true, and I've walked away from that commitment.